Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Last Word Sports. Today, the question is simple. Is LeBron James the GOAT? And if he isn't already the GOAT, how far away is he from becoming the GOAT? Now, there's a lot of stats and opinions to delve into. Right now, I personally believe that Michael Jordan is still the greatest of all time to ever pick up a basketball. And I still believe this after doing a pretty deep dive down into all the stats, but we're going to give you some of the stats and we're going to compare. All right. And this won't just be off pure stats. I also, just from watching LeBron play and then going back and watching some of Jordan's games, I've seen the greatest of each of their games. I believe that Michael Jordan's peak has definitely been higher. So, first off, let's start off with the points. LeBron James, you know, he's been playing. He's probably gonna end up playing longer than anybody else ever will. He's currently in third place for the all-time leading scorer in the NBA, and he is definitely on pace to smash that record and could potentially be the first NBA player with over 40,000 points in their career. I don't feel like that mark would shock anybody, especially with how well he's scoring the ball at age, what, 35? In year 17, is it? Yeah, year 17. So it's impressive. He's probably going to be a shoo-in to end up in first place on that board. Rebounds, he's got over 9,000 rebounds. It leaves him at 48th, but then, you got to consider this is a small forward, and leading rebounders should be centers, right? The big men. So 48th is still solid, and he's climbing that each year. His career average is about 8 rebounds per year. I believe it was what, like 9 this year, something around that number. So he's climbing that leaderboard slowly. He'll probably end up around the 35-ish mark by the end of his career. Assists, there's a good likelihood he will end up top five all time on the assist leaderboard. He's currently in eighth. He's got just about 9,300 assists, closing in on 9,400. Um, and so he's really good when you look at like the base three stats that everybody compares everybody else to. So, you look at LeBron, he's higher than Michael Jordan on all three of them by thousands on each one. Thousands. However, then you compare it to something in a statistic like steals, where LeBron James is good, but he's not even in the top 10. I think he's actually not even top 20. He's got like 2,000 career steals. Michael Jordan's beaten him by 500. There's more to just basketball than points, rebounds, assists. And that's why we're also going to go to finals appearances, where he's third all time with 10, behind Bill Russell and one other name that I forget, who I believe was just tagging along with Bill Russell for 11 out of his 12 finals. Uh, so 10. Yeah, that is a lot of NBA finals. It's four more than Michael Jordan. But he has three less wins than Michael Jordan. He is 3-6 currently in the NBA finals. Now, we obviously don't know the outcome of this current NBA finals yet because it's still going on. But LeBron James needs to win these finals to become the GOAT in my eyes. I believe he needs these finals. So let's move on. He's got four MVPs, four MVP awards. That's a lot. That's good for being tied for third all time. Uh, I believe he's tied for third with Wilt, and he's just behind Michael Jordan and Bill Russell, who both have five, I believe, tied for second. And then I think it's Kareem with six in first. So he's just behind Michael Jordan in that regard, behind him by three in his three wins in the finals, and has six losses, whereas Michael Jordan doesn't have any. All defensive teams, LeBron is tied for 24 appearances on all defensive teams. Now, I bring this up because everybody knows that LeBron James has the most all defensive, or not all defensive, all NBA teams. I believe it's 13 is the number, maybe 14. I don't know. I forget. But everybody knows that because well, everybody's going to expect him to lead that because he's been performing at such a high level for so long. It's almost expected. And, he's got more all NBA first team appearances than Michael Jordan has seasons in the NBA. So I think that goes with the longevity argument that you see from a lot of the LeBron fans, and that I'm not going to argue against. His longevity is probably by far and away the best that we have ever seen. And you'll see that a little bit later with another statistic that I'm going to show you, but all defensive teams 24th, maybe tied for 24th. He's got 6 total selections, 5 of them being first teams, 1 of them being a second team. Now, Michael Jordan has 9 all defensive first team selections and no second ones. So Michael Jordan's got 4 additional first team selections in the all defensive teams over LeBron James. And then you add on a Defensive Player of the Year trophy onto Michael Jordan, and LeBron James has none. So now moving on, PER, it's a very close race. Michael Jordan leads it by zero point 0.4 with 27.9, teetering on the edge of 28, and LeBron James as 27.5. So it's a very close race. LeBron James is second, Michael Jordan is first. They were both very efficient players, both that's what you expect from two people being discussed in GOAT conversations, for people like me making videos discussing who is the GOAT. You know, you expect nothing less from that. And so now the last point I want to make is before giving you my closing summary is game score. Now LeBron James is known to have a career average of 27.1 game score. That's his game score. Now game score is a very advanced statistic that takes account into everything you do in a game with your minutes. I forget the name of the person who came up with it, but it is a very great stat. If you haven't heard of game score before, I encourage you to go look it up. I forget who made a video on it, whether it was Mike Korzemba or King of the Fourth Quarter. One of those types of YouTubers made a video discussing what game score is. I think it was Korzemba. I encourage you to go look up the stat. It's very unique and it's actually very helpful and very detailed and gives you a great picture. So LeBron James' career average game score is 27.1. Now, we don't know an exact number for Michael Jordan, but I'm actually going to show you guys this graph right here, okay? This graph right here on the screen in Google Docs. So you see this. The gray line right here, ignore the orange line. That is Kevin Durant. The gray line right here is Michael Jordan's game score throughout this number of games. That's his game score. Now you see his peaks are way higher than both LeBron James and Kevin Durant. LeBron James is this yellow mustardy color right here. Now here's the thing though, is that you can clearly see Michael Jordan drop off at getting close to 1,100 games in the NBA, just over 1,100 games in the NBA. Whereas you saw, LeBron look like, he might be starting to, teeter off a little bit, and then boom, he's shooting back up. His game score is phenomenal. Over 1,300 games into his NBA career, almost at 1,400 games. Now, this goes again to speak to the longevity of LeBron James and why I still think he has a chance at eventually becoming the GOAT, especially if he wins his finals. Michael Jordan, though, I believe just eyeballing it is going to, if somebody were to calculate it for us, is going to end up with a higher career game score than Michael Jordan because you see his highs are much higher and they last longer than his big low that he had right around here when the rest of his career in the middle he seemed pretty even with LeBron James, if not slightly better. So I believe if you calculate it, Michael Jordan, his career game score, I'd say probably about a point better. So mark it somewhere around 28. So if you take all the stuff, into account, all the career, total stats look like they line up for LeBron James. But then you dig deeper. You look at the per games, you look at the PERs, you look at the records and the playoffs and the finals, in big games, clutch moments, and things like game score. And it all lines up for Michael Jordan. I believe Michael Jordan is the current GOAT in the NBA. However, what it will take for LeBron James to become the GOAT in the NBA is I believe he's got to match 6 finals wins. I believe he needs to get 2 out of the 3 next finals MVPs, and that he needs more all defensive teams. It's a lot. He needs to match 6 finals wins. I understand an argument if he gets to 5 finals wins. That makes complete sense to me because he has so many other appearances, more than Michael Jordan, whereas Michael Jordan, dropped out of a few first rounds and second rounds, stuff like that. So I completely understand like that argument. But I think he needs to match at 6. And I think he needs another all NBA first defensive team selection and a couple more second teams, at least. Once you get to there, and he has got the number 1 in all time scoring, and he's top 40 in rebounds and top 5 in assists, then that, I believe, is the point where you can potentially consider LeBron James as the GOAT. There will still always be an argument for Michael Jordan, and it sucks that we got a couple years cut off of his career. Because I believe if he didn't leave and step away to play baseball in the middle of his prime, we wouldn't even be having this discussion right now. It would be undisputed. So, uh, anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Uh, if you disagreed with my take, be sure to leave it in the comments. If you agreed, leave a thumbs up. It always helps the channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button too. It'll really help encourage us to put more content out. I know it's been slow, even though we're in a great time for sports. I'm also looking to collaborate with Scotty to get some college football and NFL content out pretty soon. We've just been busy because school started back up and we're practicing our sport, so I apologize for that. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, comment your opinions. I hope you all have a fantastic day, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this video. This has been The Last Word Sports. I'm your host, Fletcher. Peace out.